Is Fishtank designed to torture, mind control, and traumatize crazy people into being sane again? Is Fishtank an MKultra experiment made by MOSSAD? The reality show Fishtank is bizarrely similar to a new experimental treatment for narcissism called cold therapy by Professor Sam Vaknin. To understand what all that means, let's rewind a bit. What is Fishtank? It's a reality TV show made by Sam Hyde, one of the creators of the monumental comedic milestone World Peace, which aired on Adult Swim. What does the reality show entail? It's a show that is essentially what happens when you combine Big Brother with Guantanamo Bay. The audience can control which camera to look through and can pay to send messages over the speakers, throw trash on the ground, have the staff scream at contestants, put them inside a doghouse, put a bag over their head, and so much more. The show features 10 contestants living in a fully monitored smart house that resembles the Stanford prison experiment.
Why don't you make up your bunk, 8612?
I did, Mr. Correctional Officer.
Well, that's not what I see.
Hey, what are you doing here? Now that's how you build yourself a bed. Right there. Now that's a quality bed. Oh, now that bed didn't hold up so good.
And puts you in charge of their very sanity. The prize? $50,000 in post-traumatic stress disorder. Some people wonder, is this show evil? By watching it, will I go to hell? Am I a bad person? And I say no, you're not a bad person. You're a great person. You're a terrific person. You're my favorite person. I love you very much. To understand why torturing mentally ill people is actually a good thing, I'd like to introduce you to something called cold therapy by Professor Sam Vaknin. Sam Vaknin is a writer and professor of psychology who specializes in narcissism and borderline personality disorder. His views on narcissism is that it is not so much an inherent problem of the character or personality of the person that they are born with, but instead are forms of complex post-traumatic conditions and are the outcome of arrested development and attachment dysfunctions. When alarmed, a child seeks proximity to a caregiver, but proximity to a frightening caregiver increases the alarm. So the child attaches to an imaginary caregiver, a false self, a personal god, a private religion. In other words, some kind of trauma occurred in these people's childhoods, and the story they made up in their head about this trauma led to narcissism. And if the story they made up led to their narcissism, maybe it can be changed. So this is where it gets interesting. Cold therapy consists of the re-traumatization of the narcissistic client in a hostile, non-safe space which resembles the ambience of the original trauma. When a child undergoes trauma, they can only understand that trauma from a child's perspective. So the coping mechanisms that they create to cope with that trauma only have a child's understanding. But if the adults were to re-experience that trauma, they could process that trauma from an adult's perspective and develop stronger coping mechanisms. The adult patient can successfully tackle the second round of hurt and thus resolve early childhood conflicts and achieve closure, rendering their now maladaptive narcissistic defenses redundant, unnecessary, and obsolete, and convert post-traumatic stress into post-traumatic growth. Now, the problem that you can immediately pick up on is, why would a narcissist voluntarily sign up to be traumatized and abused over an extended period of time? Narcissists tend to not pursue treatment, seeing as they have a worldview that tends to believe in their own superiority, let alone thinking that something is wrong with them. Yet, if you make that re-traumatization a reality show with cameras and a grand prize, Suddenly, you get an abundance of people to sign up. And on the flip side, it is not ridiculous to assume that if you want to be a contestant on Fishtank, you're pretty messed up. A central theme in narcissism is a desire to achieve undeserved social status. What better symbol of that pursuit than reality TV? Oftentimes, the contestants are people whose lives are going nowhere fast. They are spending 6 weeks of valuable time they can't afford to waste to compete for $50,000.
Can you point to some money? Where is it? Where that money, Peter? Wait a minute!
All they have to do is be tortured and abused for the amusement of the masses.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But what do they get out of it? Fame, attention, and prestige. They get to become a micro-celebrity.
What's that shirt? Oh yeah, I need to show off my drip. This is a shirt from House Bomb. Peep it.
The advent of the internet has brought about the niche internet micro-celebrity. Suddenly everyone can be special, and the need to be special, the desire to attain unearned social status, and the fear of being normal is central to the narcissist worldview. Modern society has vastly increased conditions that reward this mindset. The problem with modern corporate capitalism, with the attention economy, is that it toxically encourages and validates all behavior, including toxic behavior. We do not have shame in our culture. No matter who you are or what your interests are, you are told you are special, and you can express how you are special by engaging in a product.
Hey, who likes Fortnite? We like Fortnite! We like Fortnite! We like Fortnite! We like Fortnite!
There are dating websites that specialize in helping people cheat on their specific other, and forums dedicated to discussing which children's cartoon character is most attractive, just for example. What Fishtank does is sort of like rubbing a dog's nose into their own poop. It makes society take a hard look at what it is that they are doing. Let's take a deeper look at how this works and why it's okay to laugh at people being psychologically abused by breaking down the individual components of cold therapy. A non-holding environment. A non-holding environment is essentially a non-safe space. It is a therapeutic setting or relationship where the necessary elements of safety, containment, and emotional support are lacking. A non-holding environment can be characterized by a lack of empathy, consistency, reliability, and appropriate boundaries on the part of the therapist. In contrast to a holding environment where the therapist provides a safe and supportive space for the client to explore their emotions and experiences. A non-holding environment may lead to feelings of insecurity, mistrust, and discomfort for the client. Let's give an example from the show. You have Sam verbally abusing the contestants and expressing his frustration with them, degrading their life choices and behavior.
You gotta fucking stop that. You know what? Actually, take him out. Go out that way. Wait, come on. Just go walk over there. Okay. Get over there.
The value in this is it does not toxically reinforce their lifestyle, and it helps to re-traumatize them. The thing about trauma is that it can be a negative, but it can also be a positive. A trauma can be like pressure, and pressure can, say, encourage a lobster to shed its exoskeleton or turn coal into diamonds. What determines whether or not trauma results in post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic growth depends on the degree of the trauma, the tools we have to react to that trauma, and the story we tell ourselves about the trauma that we went through. The next element of cold therapy to discuss is grandiosity reframing. Grandiosity reframing is a technique that involves addressing and restructuring the grandiose beliefs and perceptions that individuals with narcissistic personality disorder may hold about themselves. This technique aims to challenge and modify the inflated sense of self-importance, superiority, and entitlement that are characteristic of narcissistic individuals. By reframing those grandiose beliefs through therapy, individuals undergoing cold therapy can work toward developing a more realistic and balanced view of themselves, reducing the excessive need for admiration and validation.
You're getting worse! You're getting even fucking worse!
This heavily relates to the concept of a non-holding environment.
I hate you!
Oftentimes, people desire validation, an appreciation that their feelings, thoughts, and experiences are human. They desire to be accepted and not receive contempt or disgust. But a lot of the problem with narcissistic behavior is that these feelings, thoughts, and experiences are bad. And so, when validation is offered, oftentimes it is used as a means to further dig one's heels in one's flaws. For example, you tell someone that something they did was bad, and then you say, "I know that you are very stressed." And they hear this and think, "Yeah, I'm really stressed, and that's why I did what I did." And their actions are absolved in their mind. Whereas in the show, for example, Jimmy lunged at Taylor and was physical with her. He tried to blame his actions on the fact that she wasn't trying hard in the elimination challenge and was on his team. But Mr. Goldstriker immediately dismissed that and re-emphasized how it is not appropriate to get physical with women.
To stay, you have to be nice to her, you have to apologize to her, and
I mean, look, obviously I was planning to apologize. It's just the heat of the moment. It's like, you said you were going to eat the bread, bro. You said you were going to eat the bread.
okay, even if a girl doesn't eat the bread for you, you cannot, don't even raise your voice.
It's just like, with her looking like, it's like...
No, just like, no, I don't care what she looks like. I don't want to hear any, doesn't matter. I don't care about anything you're going to say. I want you to not get physical with a girl in this house.
Okay.
You can't do it.
Another example is Jimmy claiming to have 12 years of MMA experience, and Scott Sullivan and Mr. Goldstriker proceeding to have Jimmy participate in various boxing matches. The next technique is reparenting. Reparenting is a technique that addresses attachment dysfunctions and unresolved childhood traumas. Reparenting in cold therapy focuses on providing the patient with the emotional support, guidance, and validation that may have been lacking during their formative years.
Do you really think space is real, though?
I would say so, yeah.
Why? Why do you think that?
Thomas, I took you as intelligent.
I'm sorry, man. Sorry to disappoint.
Ultimately aiding in the resolution of early childhood conflicts and the development of a healthier sense of self. When a child is young, they are helpless, and the world is a very terrifying place. They rely completely on adults to survive. Adults resemble gods or superheroes, and a child as they grow up knows subconsciously that they have to become like an adult in order to survive on their own. Part of the process of raising a child involves teaching the child that adults are normal. If adults are special, if they are presented as being godlike or like superheroes, then this is an unrealistic and unhealthy goal for the child to aspire to become. This is where mirroring comes in. Mirroring, a technique that involves the therapist reflecting back the client's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in a non-judgmental and empathetic manner. This technique aims to help individuals with narcissistic personality disorder gain insight into their own feelings and experiences by seeing them mirrored in the therapist's responses. Through mirroring, clients can develop a better understanding of themselves, their patterns of behavior, and how they are perceived by others. Mirroring in cold therapy serves as a tool for fostering self-awareness, empathy, and personal growth in individuals undergoing treatment for narcissism. Say a child falls over and hurts themselves. A child will often look around at the adult's reaction to determine how they should feel. If an adult says, "Oh no, you hurt yourself, are you okay?" then the child cries. But if an adult says, "Ha ha, you fell over, silly," then the child will laugh. This helps to demonstrate to the child how they should understand what they are feeling by showing how an adult would react to that situation, albeit somewhat exaggerated. Because children actually do not understand initially what they go through. Children constantly are experiencing new experiences and lean on their community and caregivers to help them make sense of those experiences. But what if the child does not experience this help? Say the adult says, "Get up off the floor, you'll make your clothes dirty. Stop crying." Then their concept of what an adult is supposed to be remains this unreasonable imagination of some superhero or God. It remains what grown-ups appear to be to toddlers. This is what largely causes people to develop the narcissist tendency to need to come across as larger than life or special. You can see this when Brian had his on-again, off-again girlfriend show up on the show. And then Sam Hyde offered Brian advice, reparenting, by relating the situation to situations that Sam Hyde had been in, mirroring.
I had a similar, my high school sweetheart. You like, when as soon as you saw a sea kid, you get like butterflies in your stomach, that type of thing.
Oh yeah, no, like yeah.
That sort of thing. I've experienced that. I know what that feels like. I've never once had that like biological impulse match with best partner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I'm almost 40 now, and I understand like old Chinese people setting up arranged marriages.
You also see it when it comes to the freeloaders. By having people who are going through what the contestants also have to go through, they can role model that it's not so bad, and that there is a mature way to respond to their stresses. Because Tai Nguyen and Frank Hassel are able to handle what they have to go through, so can the contestants.
Vomit. Oh! Shit! It was, it also had a cigarette in it, and a loogie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ah! You missed.
I did.
So by engaging in mirroring and reparenting, the narcissist goes through the process they needed to experience as a child that lets them know that it is okay to be normal and not special. And they are taught how to properly process and react to certain emotions and conflicts. A large reason why children act out when they are young and misbehave is because they are trying to be comforted and reassured. When children are little, the world is a very scary place. The world is a place of chaos, nature, and danger. By them misbehaving, they are on an unconscious level craving the feeling that their parents can give them when they establish order, civilization, and safety. If a child runs out in public away from their parent, when their parent goes to grab them and bring them back to them, they are letting them know, "I will keep you safe."
Fuck me! No.
They don't so much need to be scolded as they do just need to be reminded that they are being watched over. And as this helps to resolve their anxiety, they act out less. Back to the example before of the child falling over and the parents scolding them. The child craved consoling and comfort for experiencing pain and wanted help for making sense of a new experience. Because the child didn't receive this can, on an unconscious level, drive the child to engage in troublesome behavior.
I don't need to say sorry! What do I have to apologize for?
Because the child is craving the experience of being comforted, consoled, and helped when encountering troubling situations. How can this be reconciled with the concept of a non-holding environment? With the next technique, good cop, bad cop. The concept of good cop, bad cop is a psychological tactic often used in interrogation and negotiation. It involves a team of two people taking opposite approaches to the subject, with one adopting a hostile or accusatory demeanor, the bad cop, and the other a more sympathetic demeanor, the good cop. The bad cop uses threats and intimidation, while the good cop offers rewards and empathy. This technique aims to convince the subject to cooperate by creating a sense of fear and then offering relief through the good cop. In the context of Sam Vaknin's cold therapy, the good cop, bad cop technique could be metaphorically applied to the therapeutic approach. The therapist might use a harsh or confrontational approach to challenge the patient's narcissistic defenses, the bad cop, and then offer understanding and support to help the patient process their emotions and insights, the good cop. These roles can even be occupied by the same person, such as when Sam acts as Jedediah Goldstriker when he's being hard on the contestants.
I'll let myself out if that's okay with you.
But then acts out of character as Sam Hyde when he's being nice to the contestants. This relates to the next concept, roleplay. Roleplay is a technique used to help individuals with narcissistic personality disorder explore and understand different perspectives and behaviors. This method involves the therapist and the client engaging in scenarios where they take on different roles or personas, allowing the client to gain insight into how their actions and interactions affect others. Through roleplay, individuals undergoing cold therapy can practice new ways of relating to others, develop empathy, and enhance their social skills.
Jimmy, can you do the me thing real quick and just look at Trisha? Just say me. Yeah. And then just put your hand. Can you put your hands on her shoulders? Go ahead. Stand up so you're towering over her. Yeah. Yeah. More frantic, like a red cereal. Yep.
Roleplay serves as a tool for promoting self-awareness, perspective-taking, and behavioral change in individuals with narcissism personality disorder as part of their therapeutic journey. Behavioral control termination. Termination in relation to behavioral control is a concept borrowed from child psychology. Child psychology is drawn from for much of cold therapy, because Sam Vaknin argues that much of the narcissist's emotional development is arrested at the state of a child and has not yet fully matured. And thus, many child psychology techniques can help to facilitate that maturation. Termination is when the therapist and their patient end their relationship. Bye! Bye bye! Bye! Termination in the context of behavioral control is to try and get the patient to go from using the therapist to help them control their behavior to internalizing that behavioral control so that it comes from within them. One example is when Sam would scold TJ for his constant fidgeting.
Jobs that you can stop faking that, by the way.
And when Sam later explained to TJ that he needs to stop stalling and pausing so much when he talks.
I think what your problem is, you don't immediately do what you know you want to do. And you need to make yourself dumber so that when you have a hot girl or a guy you need to get revenge on or whatever, or stand up and mog him basically, you need to let your dumb animal brain take over in those moments and not think about it.
TJ would go on to ask Sam on his own what are some other things that he can do to socially mature.
Do you think there's other mannerisms I have that could be worked on to make me appear and also feel more confident?
Yeah. Don't hover around people if you're not saying something.
Okay.
Been coming along good though.
Very cool.
Just keep working on it.
So when hovering, like...
Just find somewhere else to go. If you come over to somebody and the conversation doesn't start happening or you don't have anything to say, just go somewhere else.
Okay.
And just try to be comfortable. Like consciously focus on like figuring out how to be comfortable. What is making you uncomfortable at the moment? Like if you have tension in your shoulders, or if you just feel out of place maybe overthinking is not the move there, but just try to physically get into a relaxed state whenever nothing's going on.
This caused a marked reduction in TJ's stuttering, fidgeting, and overall awkwardness by the end of the season, in contrast to the beginning of the season. Goals. The therapy aims to process trauma through skilled reliving, foster more adaptive functioning, replace negative coping mechanisms with positive ones, integrate distressing feelings and memories, lead to internal resolution and homeostasis, and aid in the growth of skills like resilience and empathy. One scene that came to mind that really showcased this concept is when Shinji explained to Sam Hyde that there were several moments where he felt like quitting, but maybe a half an hour or an hour later, he would feel silly for having wanted to quit, and would feel like what he had went through wasn't so bad. That's a marked improvement of resilience.
The past few days have been pretty crazy for you, right?
Yes, exhausted, and also I always thought maybe it's time to leave, but
yeah, you were ready to leave twice.
Yeah.
When your glasses got broken,
and
after the thing with Tay, the dumping of the.
But after that moment, I really wanna leave that, but 10 minutes later, I somehow getting used to, it's kind of breakthrough.
How does that feel?
Nothing. Somehow, yeah. Why did I worry about that? So why?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So I'm breaking the ethical wall so many times. It's also I don't know it's growing up or getting back.
Yeah.
But I definitely changing, emerge now to something. Yeah.
The concepts discussed here is something that you can see with similar things like military boot camp or the social benefits that people report from things like sports or martial arts. In conclusion, Fishtank really seems to eerily resemble Sam Vaknin's experimental, controversial, risky treatment for narcissism called cold therapy. Contestants are traumatized and taken down a peg, but then mentored and given advice on how to better respond to stresses in life, making them stronger and better as human beings. As a result, it's totally appropriate for you to laugh when someone is crying from having bugs poured on them.
We used to train on the cabinets a lot. Yeah. Oh, shit. Whoopsie.
There is a lot more to Sam Vaknin's cold therapy, but that lies outside the scope of this video. And as of right now, he charges $35,000 to teach it to other mental health care practitioners. As such, I can only note the stark similarities on a conceptual basis. I wonder if Sam Vaknin was contacted about this show, if he would be willing to even help out and try to make it even more closely resemble his cold therapy concept. This has been Big Thinker. And if you could do me a favor, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and think big!
Shit, sorry guys, sorry.